Okay, so we are live now. Let me just check it out. Yeah, we are live. Say, nice. We're gonna wait for everybody to join in. Okay, and the people who
Yeah,
are
sure.
already watching can give us a hi in the chat. It's really gonna be a nice thing. Okay, so everyone who's watching can give us a hi. Okay, okay. Let's see. Two people are there right now. We're gonna wait for everybody to join in for like 5 minutes, and then is the time when we are gonna start our webinar.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Till then, how was your day, Nipun?
Yeah, it was pretty nice. What about you?
Okay. It was good. I was working in the office, then I was streaming. So yeah, it was like all occupied. Okay. Okay. Yes. So Nipun, can you give me a short introduction about yourself?
Yeah,
What do
sure.
you do? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a class 9 student. I'm from Punjab and I'm doing Flutter from 2 years and general programming from 2.5 years. Like I started with Python and I now do Flutter and I also do backend, like I do full stack development right now. So
Okay.
that's the basic about my programming side. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Punjab class 9, I also already told.
Okay. So like, when was the first time you ever wrote a code?
Yeah, it was around the second or third month of lockdown, like in back 2019, 18. I don't
No,
remember the
no.
year right now.
Which class were
Uh,
you in?
yeah, I was in like seventh, I guess.
Okay. So you wrote your first code in class seven.
Yeah,
Okay. When people were studying SST science.
yeah. I was in
Nice.
ICSC back then, so it was more
You were.
difficult. Yeah,
Okay. So you're no more in ICSC.
no, I am in CBSE right now.
Okay. So
The first code like I wrote was from YouTube only. Like it's easy to learn from YouTube, so I started from that only.
okay. So like you started from YouTube in your class seven. Nice.
Yes.
Nice, nice. Not bad, not bad. So and what actually inspired you to, come over here and come out and give that
Yeah. Uh,
that motivation to yourself to start coding?
Yeah, the main point was like in back then, there is a Olympiad called still now it's a Olympiad called IOI, which is like Informatics Olympiad in
Okay.
India, like International Informatics Olympiad. And
Okay.
my brother asked me to like participate in it. So when I
Okay.
saw like the syllabus for that, it told like there are two ways of participating in it, like ZIO and ZCO, which
Okay.
like ZCO is a coding contest, right? It's a CP contest, and
Okay.
back then I started learning Python back then because it was spotted like they allowed Python in the contest. But
Okay.
when I learned Python, then they just suddenly news came like they are ditching Python from there, and they will be
Okay.
allowing only C++ and Java,
Okay.
or it was something like that. I don't know if it was like false news or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I started learning Flutter back then because after knowing that, I lost my interest in CP, to be honest. Because
Okay.
back then I want to develop softwares.
Uh-huh.
So I
Nice.
started with developing softwares with Python. There is a module called Kiwi and Kiwi MD, and I started developing with it. I watched YouTube tutorials, then implemented it, and tried doing that. I spent like
Okay.
3 4 months developing a software, And then one day I was just surfing surfing YouTube videos, and just like saw a video from like Flutter channel. Just it was like, what is Flutter? And they I was very curious to know how it can do it. They were just
Okay.
told about the basics, that they wrote is Kia engine and more things.
Uh-huh.
So it was fascinating. We can develop for iOS, Android, and everything from the
Okay.
single code base. I
Correct.
don't need to learn like JavaScript, more things. I had basic understandings
So
of
the
Android development too.
multi-platform
Yeah,
experience kind of attracted you towards Flutter.
yeah. At that time, it
Okay.
was difficult for like to learn multiple languages rather than learning single language.
Okay.
So I started with it, and it was much easier to develop the application I was working on Flutter rather than Python.
Okay.
And the previous Python knowledge which I got from that project helped me build like APIs from Flask.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Then I yeah
Then.
then I took participate in a hackathon. It was hackathon from I don't INSUT, like it was something like that. uh,
Okay.
I didn't got selected, but it was fun. It was 1 weekend developing a software. It be like the best week of coding in my life till now, because I
Okay.
did the most coding. And the hackathon
Okay.
week was started on the day when my exams were ended, so it was more
Okay.
relief to me. So
Okay.
it was pretty nice. I didn't got, but I learned a lot. I developed a application called Sehat. It was like a COVID-related application which fetched data from the government's database of COVID cases
Using an
and shows,
API.
yeah, and
Okay.
news APIs and other things. It shows just news on that cases and regular updates like that.
Okay. So, like, when you started programming, how was your parents' reaction on the same? Like, were they supportive, or were they like, "Nay, school ki padhai and all that"? What
Yeah,
what
they were
was their
supportive, and they asked me to focus on school studies more, but they were both at the same time. They used to tell me, if you want to learn this, it's good, like having skills is good, but you need to focus on your studies too, because we all know that JEE is also important. Like we need to give JEE at one point in our life. Like we have to face competitive examinations. So
correct?
I have given Olympiads in the past, and I was able to score good, but still it wasn't that good.
Hmm.
They asked me to do better. They asked me to learn extra stuff from NCRTs, to learn NCRTs as I was in ICSE back then.
Okay.
So they just asked me to do like spend 2 hours a day maximum, or 1 hour a day maximum at night, like if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah, which increased while I learned more. It has like 3 or 4 hours a day.
So basically, you are allowed to code for a specific time in the day.
Yeah, yeah,
So like the way I was allowed to play football for a specific time a day when I was
yeah,
of your age, you're allowed to kind of code in that time. That's nice. Like it's like okay, and it's like feasible as well, because parents are actually worried about what you're doing, because no matter what you're doing, even if it is related to education, they still want you to focus on what you're doing right now, right? You need to excel in
yeah.
that, and then you need to go forward. Nice. So the next question which I have for you is, just a sec. Why only Flutter? Why not something else?
Yeah, as I previously told, in the video only they told us few key points, such as
Okay.
Flutter has similar syntax to Java and Python and C++, and I had a similar idea of them in those languages before. As in ICSE, we had to learn like Java in standard ninth, and I have seen the book.
Hmm.
My big brother was in like ninth back then. So I saw his book, and his classmates book, and I was able to see it's Java. I was able to understand the basic syntax. uh, so uh, I guess I'm the only here, but uh, so I was able to see the basic syntax.
Okay.
Yeah, and after that, the performance issues, if we learn React Native or another like web development, other things,
Hmm.
the performance may be bad. Back then, I wasn't having that much RAM. in my
Okay.
system, like system matters, like what the
Yeah, yeah, it
configuration of
does.
your PCs matters. So I couldn't run Android Studio, so I couldn't develop like native platform applications.
So you might be having
So
around 4 GBs of RAM at that time.
yeah, I was having 4 gigs of RAM. So like web development, like I wasn't interested in web development back then. So I was thinking like JavaScript is just having no syntax, like proper syntax. It doesn't work fine with me. Like it has very loose syntax type things. So I didn't like that much. So I got like Dart might be a good option to start with. So I just
Okay.
started like Googled it, Flutter tutorials. So I would like while I Googled, like I would also Google like Java tutorials, React Native tutorials, and first I started like 3 4 videos of every tutorial, and I then
Okay.
found that Flutter is easier for me,
Correct.
and it's like it can build more like faster applications than I can with another framework. So I choose Flutter.
Okay. Nice, nice. Not a bad thing to do. But then, how much time and effort did you put to learn it? Because obviously you were handling around 5 6 subjects in your school, and still you had to learn Flutter. So how did you manage all that?
So the basic was that like from the learning for Python, Kiwi, I have basic understandings of how the Android views work and other things work. So it was a little easier, but when I started, it took me like 2 3 weeks to properly understand where how to see this, because I was new to Visual Studio Code back then also. So it
Okay.
was difficult to get started with it. But when I started, it was easier to search in the docs, like Google stuff if I can't find it, YouTube the stuff, watch tutorials, and just implement those things and try those things. Then after 2 or 3 weeks, I started implementing my own software. I started working on my own software while learning how to implement APIs and other things. Like
Okay. Not bad.
so, not it's like 3 4 months, and I got like proper grip on Flutter.
So like 3 4 months, but more than enough for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So on the scale of 1 to 10, how much would you grade yourself in Flutter? How good of a developer you are?
Yeah, I will rate like myself 8, because
Okay.
I am still losing advanced topics such as complex animations, which
Mm-hmm.
uses trigonometry, because I'm very new to trigonometry right now. So
Not
I
bad.
am not able to do that right now, because but I'm learning those things, and rest comes about the like linting part and other things.
Uh huh.
I have just loose way of naming variables and other things,
Okay.
so that's why I
So
don't want
if
to
I
take
if
it.
I ask you to make so not going into the complex animations, if I ask you to make an application that is completely working and it has a complete functionality and it's a chatbot, how much time do you
Yeah,
think you will take to make it?
yeah. If we want to make like a easier version of that, it will probably take a week, a kind
Okay,
of week,
a
with
week
databases and more.
by week you mean like how many hours a day?
uh, like 2 or 3 hours a day.
Okay, 2 3 hours a day and a week is fine for
Yeah,
you to
means
make a
21
dialogue.
hours, 20 or 21 hours approximately.
Okay, and if I want it to be an advanced kind of a thing.
Yeah, it would take some more time. Like it would take like a 2 weeks, depending on the UI and other things. But
Uh-huh.
it would be it. It's I have developed chat applications before, so it would not take me much time understanding those things. But like it's tricky to learn of it for first time.
Okay, not bad. So, did you ever face problem that you use Firebase? Obviously, you would have used Firebase,
Yeah,
right? So, Dialogflow, correct? Did you
yeah.
use Dialogflow?
Yeah, I used once, but it was mostly
Okay.
copied from Stack Overflow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So, what did you use to make your chat application?
Yeah, what I used was like first thing was the real-time databases of Firebase, and second thing I used was the persistent storage of them. There are
Okay.
plenty of available for them. The second time I was implementing that, I used custom database, but in the first time one, I used the Firebase database only, cloud storage, and real-time database only,
Okay.
and authentication
So
from
if I
Firebase.
if I ask you that, so basically giving out my experience, We tech students and all of us, all the working professionals, we have been programming for a long time now. So we have that, nature of dealing with those errors and, dealing with the problems that come out. So, but like being a school student, so if I get a problem, I get an error and it's not solving, and even if I'm working on it for a week, I'm okay with it, because yeah, I've been doing this all my college life. What is it with you? Like how is it with you? Dealing with errors, or do you get frustrated some of the times, or do you kind of get annoyed and you want to leave, something like that?
Yeah, I have like left like tens or twenties of project due to the errors which occurred. I don't know why from there they occurred. Like it would work one day and next it wouldn't. It's like frustrating for that. And talking about the general errors, like Stack Overflow is the good for that. And back then when I started, like GeeksForGeeks were not having blogs for the Flutter, but now they have, which is pretty cool. Uh, and
Yeah.
like the errors, you can find it in the VS Code. You will like when it shows that this line has error and this error, it's pretty easier to debug it rather than just finding where it might be. And
Okay.
Flutter docs are pretty amazing right now.
Yeah, they are. They are. The way they've made the website
Yeah.
again, it's perfectly amazing. Okay, so the next question to you, which shoots up, is that how do you manage your Flutter development as well as your school life and your social life? So basically, a school-going student has friends, then a school-going student has homework to do, then a school-going student has exams to give. Other than that, you have Flutter dev. So how do you manage all that?
Yeah, first the day starts with like school only, like as usual. We wake up like school, and after that it's just like rest of the school. Like we have like attention, like exams are coming, this is happening, that's happening, and some random YouTube. Uh, and after that it's just about doing some homework or other stuff. And about that time, like you can learn something new if you want to, like some topics of math, science, and other things. Then the time comes of like preparing from exams. Like most of the students do, they prepare for exams when exams are coming near. So that's the same with me. I just prepare for them when exams are near. So I just start learning more than when exams are near, and just do give 1 or 2 hours when exams are not, like exam are in 2 or 3 months. So when exams are near, I just give like three like regular hours, and after that, if I'm not able to complete the syllabus, I will just do it until I can, until it's not completed.
Okay.
Then the time comes up approximately 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. when most of the coding contests like on Code Forces and CodeChef occurs, and that's the time I have to attend those. Like try to do them. So after doing them, I just have some time. Like they end at 10 or 11, and I have time like till 1 a.m. To just do Flutter to
Okay.
learn something new. So most of the time, like currently, I'm preparing for informatics Olympiad, like INOI, it's a second stage. So I do CP at that time, but when I was not into I used to do Flutter right at that time, like two
Okay.
hours a day.
So, one secret question, okay? So, you have to tell the truth. Has there ever been a situation where your mom and dad have told you to study and you've hidden from them and started doing Flutter or coding?
No, this doesn't happen.
Okay.
It's like my mother sees everything what I'm doing right now. Like
Okay.
she say me to like study right now, and I might refuse to, like I will do it later, or I will have done it already, or something like that. But it's not like if she says me without telling her, I would not like start coding that.
Okay. Okay. So, you're an obedient child. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how much important do you think is Flutter for the future, according to you?
Yeah, like the seeing the past progress of like Flutter, it has progressed a lot. I guess in the new versions of Flutter, will have more support for Web3 and other like crypto, like other things. Support will be there, and when the desktop will also become like stable, it may just overcome like React Native in the on the other platforms. Like jobs are more on React Native right now, but Flutter may
Correct.
overcome that. It's
It will. It will.
easier to debug. Yeah,
Correct.
the companies like startups, there are new startups in India are coming every day, and it's easier for startups to hire developers, which is if they want to teach someone Flutter, it's easier to teach them other than teaching them React Native. So like the learning time of a developer reduces a lot. So the startups, it's easier for startups to hire Flutter developers, and it's cheaper for them. So startups might prefer Flutter rather than React Native or native platforms.
Okay. And by this, we can say that the need for Flutter developers in the industry is maybe it is minimal right now, but it's going to increase in the future. Saying that it's
Yeah,
going to get increased in the future, right? So this
yeah,
this answers two of our questions: that what is the importance and how much will it increase with the time. Correct.
yes, sure.
Okay. So is it good to learn Flutter or coding before you get into a college, or does it help during college? Like, does
Yeah,
it help during college? You won't be able to answer it, but do
yeah.
you think you should be learning Flutter during your school times? Is what
Yeah,
I want to ask.
I guess general coding, it's pretty helpful.
Okay.
If you are in a ninth or tenth, you have time to study for it. Like you can spend 2 hours a day, but when you will get into 11th standard or 12th standard, you need to prepare for like competitive examinations. Whether you are in any stream you're going, you need to prepare for that. You may or may not get time that according to the amount you spend on your studies. But if you get, you can continue like your coding or Flutter development. And it's pretty good because there are many students who are getting internships, jobs as per their skills. I have seen many
Hmm.
students who know Flutter and they are doing internships right now.
Okay.
So I want to ask you do you think if you would have started Flutter before getting into college, would
Hmm.
you have got benefit from that?
See, it's not only about Flutter, okay? It's about coding as a whole.
Yeah,
That if I would have started coding way back then when I was in class 9, 10th, or maybe 11, 12, it would have been better because the people who knew coding from that time today are into good companies. So it's not that I am not into good companies. Like my seniors, what I mean. So the people who are my seniors and they're eligible for going into internships, they're eligible for going to jobs, they have a better understanding. It's not that you can't cover up in college. ऐसा नहीं होता, like if you haven't studied in school you can't cover up. So I have never ever paid attention to the subject information practices which I had in 11th and 12th, but then still today I am a mentor over here and I'm working as a data analyst in one of the biggest firms of India. So it doesn't mean that you can't cover up. I covered up because I worked day and night. So it's like either you work with ease from your class 9, 10, or you work hard in your college. So it's one and the same thing. Yeah, tab maze kar lo, ya college mein maze kar lo. It's like that. So either you can have
yeah,
fun during your school times and you have to pay a lot and a lot of time to coding in your college times, or else you can skip out the fun there, because obviously you also might be skipping out on a lot of fun, people playing down in cricket and you're coding on your in your house. So you're skipping out on a lot of fun, but this is going to pay off once you join college, because it's one and the same thing. You either you invest time in school or you invest time in college, you have to give it up. तो
yeah,
स्कूल से देना शुरू करोगे तो यू बाइफरकेट इट. करेक्ट. सो यू तुमने उसको डिवाइड कर दिया. सो व्हेन यू डिवाइड इट अप, सो यू हैव मोर things to go. बट अगर
yeah,
डिवाइड नहीं किया तो एंड मोमेंट पे यू इट गेट्स क्लॉग्ड अप एंड देन यू हैव टू फिनिश अप फास्ट. कभी ना कभी तो करना ही
yeah.
पड़ेगा.
It's
Correct. It's
basically
not
a
only
give and
about
take
Flutter.
scenario.
Yeah, it's not only about Flutter. It's about every
Yeah,
coding
general
scenario.
coding and development purposes.
Yes. Any other questions that you have for me, Nipun?
Y- Yeah, no question right now. Just I want to ask, what do you think about Flutter in general? Like, what are your views on
Okay.
it? Like, you told you are working as a data analyst, and you know Flutter also. So
Correct.
I just wanted to ask, is there any hope in the companies that they will switch to Flutter right now, or
Okay. So
maybe in
see,
the upcoming future?
yeah. So I'll tell you one thing. Back in 2019-20, people did not even know about Flutter. Okay. So people never gave it a consideration. People never tried doing it, and etc. etc. And then when people actually started working with Flutter, there came a time wherein where I gave my interview in December for this company which I'm working in. I started working yesterday itself. Yesterday was my first day in the company. My interviewer asked me questions on Flutter. So my final round that I cleared for the company was based on Flutter itself. Why? Because my resume had Flutter. Okay. So if you're applying for an internship, so basic idea about an internship is कि you go there and learn. ठीक है. And when you're applying for somewhere to learn, they ask you questions on what you already know. So if you know Flutter, answering questions is easier. Okay, if they ask you what is a stateless widget, you can answer in seconds. Okay, if they ask you about the life cycle, you can answer in seconds. So that was the thing which actually got me through my interview. Okay, and the project that I displayed was made on a live stream only. I was making a project and then I converted it to a better and a better and a better project, and I gave it to my interviewer. So at the end of the day, it's like it will help and it does help. And companies are shifting towards Flutter. Why? Because it's a multi-platform company. Okay, think it from the think towards it with a business scenario. You are a businessman. You need to hire developers. Okay, for your company. So either you hire a web developer, an Android developer, and an iOS developer. Means you have to pay expected salary. Just
Yeah.
consider you have to pay one lakh rupees per person, so you pay 3 lakh rupees. But if you hire a Flutter developer, even if he takes 1.5 lakhs, he can make three applications together, like he can do the
Yeah,
work of
within the
three people together,
half the cost.
half the cost. So cost cutting and proficiency increases. Understand?
Yeah.
Now the web developer makes a web application. He gives it to the Android developer. Android developer faces issues in creating it. Then he creates it. He gives it to the iOS developer. iOS developer makes an iOS application. He faces issues. यहाँ पे ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. You make one application and you run it all over. So that's the difference. Okay.
Yeah,
So
nice.
this is the thing. So
It's like,
it became a boom in 2021. It's getting increased day by day, and it will get better. So the way
yeah,
you saw that the Flutter website, flutter.dev, was just a simple uh, HTML kind of a website back then. But
yeah, I
today, if you
just
see
had
it,
the
it's
name and the titles, nothing much.
yeah. But now it's like amazing, and with time, it's going to get better. It is going to increase to a level where it beats web development in the society. Like that's what I think now. If
Yeah,
it doesn't, it's not my fault. But yeah, that's what I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So
in the future version, if they like improve the web like compilation of the Flutter and that, they might compete with JavaScript also because it natively compiles to JavaScript inside.
correct, correct. Really nice. Yeah. Any other questions that you would like to ask me about anything?
No, I don't have any questions right now.
Okay. So I guess it was a really good webinar out there where we got to know about you and how you started programming. It's really inspirational because when I was of your age, I never did all of this. And your age, chodo, I didn't even do it in my first year. So I started coding in my second year. So but then still I covered up because I worked hard. But yeah, it was really nice talking to you, Nipun. And I would expect to have some more sessions with you. I will decide it and tell if we plan out something. And thank you so much for coming. Have a very good time coding, and I hope you get good marks in class 10th and 12th. JE वगैरह निकालोगे आप. I hope that for you so that you get into some IIT. Okay, so
Yeah,
thank you
thanks
so
a
much,
lot.
buddy, for coming in, and we'll see you next time. And guys, all those who are watching, have a good evening, and we're going to see you guys pretty soon. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Happy coding, guys.